Guys, welcome back to another RT Electrics video. Today we're going to cover an EV basic question. What is the difference between kilowatts and kilowatt hours? First thing, let's understand what a kilowatt is. So a kilowatt is basically a unit of measurement. So if you think of centimeters, liters, kilo, they all measure something. So a kilowatt is the power an appliance demands. So something like a light bulb would demand 100 watts. Something like a washing machine, that would demand maybe 400 watts. So we're just looking at what it demands. Now, similar to centimeters and meters, once the centimeters hit 100, it goes into meters. With a kilowatt, once the watts hit 1,000, then we start saying kilowatts. So if you look at a dishwasher, for example, a dishwasher is typically 1,000 watts upwards. So you'd say 1 kilowatt. A electric shower is 10 kilowatts. So this is the power that they're demanding to work. How does this relate to EV chargers? Now, your EV charging rate, so something, let's say 10 kilowatts, it's not realistic, but this is good for maths. Your charger will demand 10 kilowatts. And then what it will do, it will take that power and then it will dump that into your battery. So as you can see, the higher the kilowatt, the more it can dump into your battery. Now, I'm going to give you a few examples of how this works, and it's not scientific because there are other factors to consider. So you have something like the 80% rule. Electricity does go AWOL, so even if you've got a 10 kilowatt charger, it won't charge at 10 kilowatts consistently for hours on end. But for this video, I find this the simplest way to explain it. We'll use simple maths. We'll go through an unrealistic example, 10 kilowatt one, and then I'll give you 3 examples of 3 real cars. Let's use an analogy that we're all used to, the petrol pump. So if you imagine the petrol pump is your EV charger, and now let's imagine that your car battery is your petrol tank. So when you go to the petrol pump, you'll get the nozzle, put it in the car. Now, the more you squeeze down the handle, the faster it will come out. And that's the equivalent of your charger charging at the maximum speed. So if we had a 10 kilowatt charger, that's you holding down that nozzle to the maximum capacity, and that's the petrol going into your car at full speed. Now the other end is the storage of that petrol. So an average petrol tank is maybe 65 litres. And this is where the kilowatt hours comes into place, because in a battery, instead of saying litres, we say it's got 65 kilowatt hours of battery. But let's use, let's say 100 kilowatt hours of battery. So now we can do some simple maths. Your charger will charge at 10 kilowatts in hindsight consistently for 1 hour, and that's what it can give to your battery. And you've got a 100 kilowatt hour battery. So it will take 10 hours to fill that battery from 0 to 100%. Now just think of that battery as an energy device. So again, just like your car, if you've got a full tank, how long it lasts depends how you drive. So if you've got your foot down all the time and you're braking hard, so we know that's going to use up a lot more petrol, and it's going to be the same with your battery and your car. remember, your car is going to demand power to move. And if you recall, when something is demanding power, it's measured in kilowatts. So let me just recap. So we've given the car energy, or power, sorry, and we've given it 10 kilowatts, and it can produce 10 kilowatts per hour. And now we've filled it up. Now the battery is just like a battery. You can plug anything into it, but obviously this is in the car. So when you're using it, you can either use this 100 kilowatt battery in two ways. You can go, right, I need 100 kilowatts, which is what you've got, and that will last for 1 hour. Or you can go, right, I want to be efficient with this and I want to make it last a bit longer. So then what you could do, again, a little bit of maths, you could go, well, if I use 10 kilowatts, that will last me 10 hours, because 10 goes into 100 10 times. And that's as simple as it is, guys. So kilowatts is the power being given when it comes to EV chargers, and kilowatt hours is the stored energy in the battery. What you're probably thinking now, like most people, is the higher the kilowatts, the faster I can charge my car. And you are 100% correct. The higher the kilowatts, the higher you can charge, well, the faster you will charge your car. But if you recall in the previous videos, I said most domestic properties can only have 7 kilowatt chargers. You do get chargers that go a lot higher, and they're called rapid chargers. But for this video, I'm going to stick to the 7 kilowatts because that's what the majority of people will have at their homes. And I'll do another video talking about rapid chargers. So now we've done the example of the 10 kilowatt and 100 kilowatt hour battery, which isn't realistic at all. It was just for simple maths. So now let's go through 3 examples, but I'm going to base it on 7 kilowatts because that's what majority of people will have in their homes, and that's what the majority of people will be using as well, rather than the rapid chargers. Now again, this isn't an exact science because there are other variables involved. Car charging rate, just for example. But again, these are just examples, these are just rough figures, and this is just to help you get a better understanding of what you're looking at when you're charging your car and what sort of range you're looking at also. Right, so the first car I'm going to have a look at is the Fiat 500e. Now, just remember guys, you've got a 7 kilowatt charger, and that means for every hour you're charging, it will put 7 kilowatts into your battery. So the Fiat 500e, this has a 42 kilowatt hour battery. So let's do some simple maths. So 42 kilowatt hour battery, and we know we can give it 7 kilowatts an hour. So 42 divided by 7 gives you 6. So that tells you it's going to take 6 hours to fill up from 0 to 100%. And that gives you a range of around 160 miles. Next car is the BMW i4. Lovely car. Now this has an 83 kilowatt hour battery. Again, we'll use the 7 kilowatt EV charger. So we're going to do 83 divided by 7. And I think 11.8, I think it works out roughly, but let's round it up to 12. So again, what we're looking at is 12 hours to charge this car from 0 to 100%. And on the BMW i4, it gives you a 300 miles plus range. Last but not least is the Mercedes-Benz EQS SUV. This car has a 120 kilowatt hour battery. So let's use the same example as we have in the last two. So 120 divided by 7, let's round it up to 17 hours. So that again, but do remember this is from 0 to 100%. And this car will give you 350 plus miles of range. Now, you should have a good understanding of kilowatt hours. So the next video, we'll talk about how much this is going to cost you to charge your car, and we'll look at the rapid chargers and your home charging, and also there's a tariff that you can go on late at night which actually costs you less money to charge. So we'll cover this in the next video. If you've got any further questions, do leave them in the comments and me and the team will get back to you. But again, thank you for watching and I'll see you next time.